Now we're going to get into what is possibly the most challenging part of any business, which is recruiting awesome people. This is something that people have sometimes asked me why I do this so late in the process. And there's a simple answer. I used to do recruiting for insurance agency owners, and very often we'd find an awesome candidate that didn't work out in an agency because the agency wasn't ready for them. The agency was operating at a certain level, and we found somebody that was operating at a higher level, and it didn't match. The person who was recruited outgrew the agency. Actually, they'd already outgrown the agency, they just didn't know it, and so they didn't stay. And so, this whole process of having our vision and our role clarity sets us up to know we are attracting and looking for the right people. And we have a compensation plan that we're going to put in our recruiting offers and accountability standards to make sure we scare away people that are not good for the role. So, we're simultaneously making sure we have an awesome opportunity, but we also clarify that, yes, we will fire you at 3 weeks or 4 weeks if you're just the wrong fit. So, please don't leave a 80% good job if you think it's just going to be 85% here. We want you to come here if you think this is going to be awesome and you're ready to make a huge shift and a huge jump. From a process standpoint, we want to make sure that when we recruit somebody, we know what they're going to be doing and we can communicate that to them, whether it's their retention or the acquisition or the pivoting or the multi-lining. And we also want to know that we're not recruiting somebody for a short-term task. So if I can delegate something to an outsourced business and don't need to commit long-term money to that, I should not be recruiting an employee for that. So it's at this stage that we're now ready to coach up the people we currently have and make sure as best as possible we're helping everybody be aware of what we're looking to do, how they can do it. We're giving people plenty of time to be awesome, but we're also allowing ourselves to see who really isn't performing. And that gives us a sense of who we already want to be working towards replacing so we can best deliver on our promise to be awesome to our clients. Most insurance agency owners I know absolutely hate recruiting. They don't feel confident they're going to find somebody awesome. They're not really clear about what they're offering. They're not sure if they have the right offering. They're not sure if they're overpaying. It brings up a lot of nervousness. Am I going to end up in a situation where I have to jump and pay more for this person than I thought I was going to? And then is that going to get out to the other team members? And am I going to put myself in this weird situation? A lot of this happens because most agency owners don't recruit very often. It's kind of like hosting one event per year and hoping that works out. It's kind of like making one sales call per year and hoping that that's going to be the one call that, makes the big sale, as opposed to having an ongoing process that's not very painful, that can involve your team members and can allow you to make sure you're constantly being aware of what's out there. With all this in mind, we want to create a process that is delegable. I used to think the word was delegatable. Apparently, it's delegable. We want to have a process that is, for the most part, able to be given to your team members to execute without you having to be involved. The first step is to drive traffic, whether that be through ads, through job postings, social media, word of mouth, and then pre-screen your applications. Then you can send assessments to the applications that you think you might be interested in, and then conduct in-person interviews at the office or over the internet through Zoom or whatever you like, if that's what you want to do. Ask fact-checking questions to the applicant. They've said certain things, they've declared certain things in their application. We've got to verify those. Step 6 is to administer the Wonderlic aptitude test in person. This is the test that the military has used for decades, that the National Football League uses in their draft combine. This is a test that assesses a person's mental sharpness, their ability to multitask and do things quickly. And put simply, if a person's score is too low, they're really not a good fit for the insurance industry. This is not meant to be discriminatory. It's meant to acknowledge that our field involves a lot of information and can be stressful. And if there's a bad fit, even if a person's awesome with people, if they don't have a certain level of mental quickness, this is not going to be a good fit for them. Then we can ask the job role specific interview questions, administer the Kolbe profile in person. That could also be done remotely. That's a test that looks at the person's tendencies, their nature. Are they somebody that really deals with facts well or not? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Do they follow through? Do they initiate things? Are they somebody that really starts things quickly or no? And are they somebody that prefers to be inside in a desk type job situation, or do they want to be outside working in nature or doing something that maybe, again, indicates they're a wrong fit for the agency? Then we'd want to present them the job responsibilities packet, that accountability piece to help them understand what we expect of them, have a final interview, and then present the opportunity to let them see what is available if they perform at certain levels, and then do our reference and background checks. The first time you do this, you're probably going to want to be the one who executes this to make sure the process works, to make sure you like the process and you have the steps detailed and fine-tuned. Once you've done that, you can start delegating it. The first 6 steps could be given to a recruiting manager who simply follows your processes and uses the criteria you suggest to decide who to screen out, who not to screen out. In other words, they can basically do the qualifying of prospects for you. And then at step 7, the job role expert could be asking the interview questions related to that job role. So if it's a retention team leader, that person could be interviewing a retention team member. You wouldn't need to be doing that. You could have somebody who's an expert at that. Now, if it's something that you feel you're the best person to do it, great. But at this step, you still might not need to be involved. The next 2 steps, again, could be administered by a recruiting manager. And it's just that final interview that you'd want to make sure you're definitely involved in. And then again, the rest could be delivered and executed by your recruiting manager. And so what this allows is for you to be able to continuously be recruiting, not really feel like it's this really burdensome process, and for you to only get involved at most in 2 steps of the process if your expertise is needed. And then once you have an idea of your process and you understand how to start using these Kolbe and Wonderlic assessments, you can get to know what are the profiles, the scores that best fit each of these roles and allow you to know, again, that you're setting up yourself and the person for success by making sure there's a solid fit. I hope you found this extremely helpful. In the next video, we'll be talking about how to make sure your profit is happening as automatically as possible. As always, I look forward to helping you help more people and make more money in less time, doing what you do best so you can better enjoy your family, your friends, and your life. Thanks for listening.